Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, welcome. I am Fakhr Zaman. In today's lecture, we will discuss unit number 6, Business Communication Through Writing, course code 8415. In this unit, we will discuss business correspondence, memos, email and instant messaging, and letters. These topics we will discuss in writing memos, email and letters, and in writing reports we will discuss planning reports, writing informal reports and writing formal reports. First of all, I am going to talk about business correspondence. Business correspondence is a written message such as a memo or letter that deals with business matters. These documents are written to share or request information. The audience for the message or request may be persons within or outside the company or organization. Types of business correspondence are memos and email, letters, and other documents. So first we should talk about memos and emails. Memos and emails messages are the documents most commonly written for use within an organization. A memo, more formally called a memorandum, is an informal document that is signed to someone within your company or group. Memos usually are keyed in word processing software, printed and signed to the receiver. Memos are often signed by interoffice, a mail. An email, electronic mail, is an informal message written, signed and received on a computer. Some cell phones and handheld computers also allow users access to email. Memos were once the most common type of internal document used in company. Increasingly, email is being used instead of letters to send certain types of routine, positive or neutral messages to people outside the organization. Example of these messages include acknowledgement and order confirmation. Now we are talking about letters. A business letter is a document used to send a written message to someone outside an organization. Letters also are used to send formal written messages to employees or members within an organization. Business letters are considered more formal than memos or email messages. Dear students, business letters are typically printed on high quality stationery and include a letterhead. The letterhead may be pre-printed or printed as part of the document file. The letterhead contains the company name, address, and telephone number. The letterhead may include other information such as the company's logo, fax number, website address, and email address. Appearance is important because a receiver starts to form an opinion of the sender and the company from looking at the letter. यकीनन आप जब किसी को कोई एक लेटर भेजते हैं तो अगर वो प्रॉपरली ना हो, जिस तरह से हमने अभी आपको बताया कि किस तरह से प्रॉपर लेटर आप भेज सकते हैं, क्या क्या चीज़ें उसमें शामिल होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उसके फर्स्ट लुक देखकर ही जो रिसीवर है वो अंदाज़ा लगाता है या एक इमेज बिल्ड करता है. तो यकीनन आपका इम्प्रेशन जो है वो बहुत अच्छा पड़ना चाहिए जब आप किसी को एक लेटर भेजते हैं. Personal business letters are written by individuals rather than companies to deal with business matters. A letter of application for a job and a request for replacement of a faulty CD player are example of personal business letters. Now the next is other documents. Other business documents are also signed to share information with employees and customers. For example, an agenda is signed to let people know the topics that will be discussed at a meeting. Minutes of a meeting are sent after a meeting to summarize meeting discussions. Several business documents are related to processing orders and payments. For example, an invoice is a bill for items or services purchased from a company. The items or services, charges, and related information are shown on the invoice. These documents are typically prepared using a standard form. Creating the document with correct and complete information is very important. Any directions included with the form should be clear and concise. Little composition is involved with this type of document. However, the sender may have an opportunity to be courteous by using statements such as, "Your business is important to us. Please let us know if you have any questions about this invoice." Dear students, now moving to the purposes for correspondence. Business documents are written to achieve a purpose or an objective. Purposes for business message may be to promote goodwill, provide a record, advise, direct or state a policy, inform, request information or reply to a request, and persuade. अजीज तलबा तलबात, अब हम बढ़ते हैं नेक्स्ट टॉपिक की जानिब, जो कि राइटिंग मेमोज, ईमेल एंड लेटर्स में हम पढ़ रहे हैं। मेमोज. A memos consists of heading lines and a body and may contain one or more notations. After you have planned and organized your message, you are ready to write. A memo consists of heading lines and a body and may contain one or more notations. Each part of a memo serves an important purpose. So first we should talk about heading lines. The heading consists of the to, from, date, and subject lines. Begin the heading lines at about 2 inches from the top of the page. If the paper has a pre-printed company name or a name in the header, begin at least half inch below the name. Use default size margins. Key the heading words to, from, date, and subject in bold and all capitals letter at the left margin. Follow each heading word with a column. Align the data that follows the headings words at the first step after subject. If your software does not leave blank space after each paragraph, tap enter to leave one blank line between heading lines. Dear students, now we are discussing to line. The to line contains the names of the persons to whom the memo is written. Often just the first and last names are included without titles. In some organizations, names in the two line include job titles, department names or degrees, and courtesy titles such as MS, means follow the preference of your organization. Memos can be addressed to everyone who holds a particular job or everyone in particular department. When sending a memo to more than one person, either separate the names by commas or set them in a list. Alphabetize the names unless your organization prefers that persons be listed by rank. For a long list of recipients, use a distribution list. Key the words distribution list in the two line. List the recipients alphabetically by last name at the end of the memo below any notations. If your software automatically adds space after a paragraph, remove the space after paragraphs in the list of names. The next is from line. The sender's name appears in the from line. As in the to line, usually just the first and last name are included. Don't use a courtesy title with your own name unless that is your company's policy. However, you may need to include one or more pieces of information. For example, a job title, department, location, or telephone extension to help the reader understand the source of the message or for the reader's convenience. The next is dateline. Key or insert the current date on the dateline, spell out the month, use a numeral for the day, and follow with the year. You may want to create a memo template to use when you are write memos. Next is subject line. Restrict a memo to one idea or topic. Supervisors and co-workers are busy people, including more than one topic in a memo. It possesses the risk that one of the topics will be ignored or forgotten. When you need to discuss another idea, write another message. The exception to this guideline is memo report, which may be several pages long. Compose a short, clear, specific subject line. The subject line of a memo states the main idea or topic of the message. The sentence that contains the main idea and the subject line should be similar and they should use the same keywords. Note that the subject line is not a complete sentence. Make the subject brief and to the point so your receiver can quickly identify the purpose of the memo. The next is body. The body of a memo contains the paragraphs. A memo should be written clearly enough for the receiver to understand it even if he or she does not read the subject line. The body should be courteous, correct, concise, clear, and complete. Begin each line of the body at the left margin. Don't indent paragraphs. Leave a blank line between paragraphs if your software don't automatically leave extra space after a paragraph. Use bullets when the order of the items does not matter in a list of needed supplies. For example, use numbers when the order of the items does matter. For instance, use numbers for directions that must be completed in a certain order or for items listed by priority. Don't leave extra space between listed items if they are short. If they are long, leave or add extra space between listed items. Use tables, graphs, and charts when you need to share statistical information or other numerical data. If the table or chart is large, it can be included as an attachment rather than in the body of the memo. Dear students, the next is notations. The body of a memo may be followed by one or more notations. These notations appear at the left margin below the body of the memo. Leave one blank line between notations if your software does not automatically leave blank space after a paragraph. Reference, initials, attachment or enclosure notations, copy or blind copy notations. Second page headings, memo templates. So first we should talk about reference initials. Reference initials are the initials of the person who keep the memo. The second one is attachment or enclosure notations. An attachment notations tells the recipient that another separate document is attached to the memo. The document may be attached to the memo with a staple or paper clip. Key the word attachment at the left margin below the reference initials or below the last paragraph if there are no reference initial. An enclosure notation tells the recipient that a document is included with the memo but not attached to it. Next is copy or blind copy notations. A copy notation indicates that a copy of the memo is being sent to the person's name. A copy notation consists of the letter followed by the names of the persons receiving a copy. A blind copy notation. A blind copy notation indicates that a copy of the name is being sent to the persons named without the recipient's knowledge. A blind copy notation consists of the letter BC followed by the names of the persons receiving a copy. Key the notation as the last item on the memo following the same style as a copy notation. Be sure the notation appears only on your file copy and the copy sent to the person named in the BC notation, not on the copy sent to the recipients named in the to line. Second page headings. Try to limit a memo to one page. When a memo requires more than one page, use a heading for all pages after the first page. Document header, key the recipient's name, insert the page number and key the date. Leave a blank line after the date and before the body. Next is memo templates. Many organizations have a template or standard format for memos that they require employees to use. Memos may be prepared on a plain paper or on copy memo letterhead. Letterhead content varies. As an example, it might include the company names. अजीज तलबा तलबात, अब हम बढ़ते हैं अपने नेक्स्ट टॉपिक की जानिब जो कि राइटिंग मेमोज, ईमेल और लेटर्स में हम पढ़ रहे हैं। और अगला टॉपिक है ईमेल एंड इंस्टेंट मैसेजिंग। Email messages are written, sent and received on a computer. The Sender keys the message in email software. With the click of a button, the message is sent almost instantly to the receiver's electronic mailbox, where he or she can read it and respond, also using email. Email has several advantages compared to other types of written messages. Because email is an informal means of communicating and requires little formatting, it can be composed quickly. Email messages usually require little transmission time. A message can be sent, replied to, and acted on in minutes, more quickly than a memo sent through interface mail. Email is inexpensive. It requires no use of paper or ink to create and no postage to send. Parts of an email message. An email message consists of two parts: the header, the body. Parts of an email message are two line CC and BCC lines, from lines, dateline, subject lines, body, work-friendly features, address book, signature file, spelling checker, attachment, draft, reply and reply all, forward, priority, return receipt, email netiquette. Instant messaging. What is instant messaging? Instant messaging is a means of communicating electronically via text messages with one or more people in real time. The exchange is immediate, like a telephone conversation when both or all parties are online. Comments are keyed rather than spoken. Some companies use instant messaging to communicate with clients, customers, and suppliers. At an online clothing retailer, for example, a customer who is not sure what size shirt to order can talk with a customer service representative using a chat feature. The customer can get an answer that otherwise would involve a telephone call or several exchanges of email messages. Most often, instant messaging is used at work to communicate with co-workers. It is especially popular with young adults who have used the technology at home and school for years. Instant messaging can save communication time and improve teamwork. Instant messaging conversations are very informal. They are truly conversations, not documents like letters or memos. There are four types of instant messaging. Instant messaging basics: body, contacts or friends list, chat windows, work-friendly instant messaging features, and instant messaging etiquette. So, instant messaging basics: like an email conversation window, the window for composing an instant message generally includes a two-line and a text area where the message is keyed. You can key the recipient's name or select the name on a contacts list. Once you send your message and the other person responds, the conversation begins. Several people can take part in a single conversation using a chat feature. At work, however, only two people typically take part in conversation. The second, body contacts or friends list. A contacts list is a list of people with whom you communicate. For example, you might create a contacts list for coworkers with whom you communicate frequently, another for members of a committee on which you are serving, and another for people on your production team. In some programs, the contacts list is called a buddy list or friends list. When you connect to your messaging server and choose a contacts list, you can see at a glance which people on that list are online and available to talk with you. Those people can see that you too are available to talk. The next is chat window. The chat or conversation window displays everything keyed in the current chat session. Comments are listed in the order made, and the person who made each comment is identified. The window also includes a space in which you enter the comments you would like to add to the discussion. Next is work-friendly instant messaging features. Like email, instant messaging has several features that are especially useful at work. Status options show whether the person is available to talk. Options vary with the software. Examples are available, away, busy, be right back, out to lunch, and on the phone. Some software allows you to create personalized status messages. Other features such as the ability to save messages, spelling checker, attachment, forward, and return receipt are similar to those found in email programs. And last one is IM Netiquette, instant messaging netiquette. Many of the rules of netiquette for email also apply to IM. The primary rule is to be considerate of others. Additional rules of instant messaging netiquette are: don't use all capital letters. Be sensitive to the possibility that other users may have slower systems. Don't communicate confidential, sensitive, or personal critical information by instant messaging. By brief, instant messaging is best for short messages. Use other methods for long messages. Use status options to let people know about your availability and respect the status option listing of others. Even when someone's status is available, it is polite to begin a conversation by asking whether now is a good time to talk. Consider your receiver in the level of formality of your comments as well as in your use of abbreviations and emotions. Don't leave other people waiting for your response. When you start a chat, be prepared to carry it through with little or no interruption. Protect your privacy and the privacy of others by learning about and using the security features of your system. Dear students, the next topic is letters. After you have planned and organized your message, you are ready to write. Every letter should contain certain standard parts. Several optional letter parts may be used when needed. Each part of a letter serves an important purpose. Standard letter parts: date, letter address, salutation, body, complimentary clause, writer's name and title, reference, initials. So first we should talk about date. The date indicates when the letter was composed. Second one is letter address. The letter address contains the name and address of the receiver. Salutation. The salutation serves as a greeting to the receiver. Next is body. The body contains the paragraphs of the letter. Complementary clause. The complementary clause is the formal closing. Writer's name and title. Key the writer's name below the complementary clause. And reference initials indicates who keyed a letter. The next is optional letter parts. These parts are attention line, reference line, subject line, postscript. First we should discuss attention line. An attention line is used when a letter is not addressed personally to an individual but rather to an organization. Reference line. A reference line directs the reader to a source document, such as an invoice that is included with the letter. Subject line. As in a memo, the subject line of a letter provides the letter's topic. Postscript. A postscript is a sentence or paragraph at the end of the letter that reinforces the message or provide additional information. The next is planning report. A report is a document that provides facts, opinions, or ideas about a specific topic or problem. Reports are business tools that help managers make decisions and solve problems. Reports can be classified according to their style, purpose, and format. So first we should talk about style. The two styles of reports are formal and informal. Formal reports generally are long and contain preliminary parts, a title page, a summary, and a table of contents may appear in a formal report. Bibliography and appendix may also be included. An example of formal report is company's annual report to stockholders. A report to a government agency may be formal report. Another example is an external proposal. This type of report analyzes a problem and recommends a solution. Informal reports are typically shorter than formal reports. They are written in a less formal style. Typically, they have no preliminary pages except a title page. The everyday matters they discuss often required little background information. A sales report is an example of an informal report. In a sales report, the writer summarizes sales for a specific period. An internal proposal is another type of informal report, also known as a justification report. It is used to analyze an internal problem and recommend a solution. The next is defining the report. Before writing a report, you must do some planning and research. Even if you are simply reporting facts, you must gather those facts. You must arrange the facts in an easy to follow logical sequence. The steps for planning a report are identify the problem or topic, determine the scope of the report, develop a timeline, collect the data, develop a preliminary outline, analyze the data, and draw conclusions and make recommendations. So first we should talk about identify the problem or topic. The first step is to identify the problem or topic to be studied and the objective of the report. As in planning letters and memos, determine why you are writing the report and what you hope to accomplish. Write a question or statement that clearly expresses the problem or topic. Identify the areas or aspects of the problem or topic that you will investigate. Develop a list of questions you need to answer to achieve the objective of the report. Second, determine the scope. The next step is to decide exactly what to investigate or discuss. Scope refers to the boundaries of the report, what will be included and what will not. A problem or topic may be very broad or have many aspects. For example, a report about the use of computers in our company departments will require more research and have a wider scope than a report that examines computer use in just two departments. Develop a timeline. Develop a schedule for collecting the data, analyzing the results, and writing the report. Identify the data when the report must be completed. Then develop a timeline to help you complete the research and report on time. A timeline is a schedule that lists the dates by which each task and phases a project must be completed. Dear students, next is collecting the data. The next step is creating a report is to do research by collecting appropriate data. Two sources of data are available. Primary research involves gathering new data. Secondary research involves locating data that already have been gathered and reported. Primary research. What is primary research? If the facts you need are not available in books, magazines, internet pages, or other sources, you may need to conduct primary research. To conduct this type of research, you might use interviews, surveys, or observations. An interview is a conversation between two or more people. A survey is a set of questions or statements used to learn facts or opinions. Surveys can be given in person, in writing, or by telephone. Observation. Observation means, dear students, watching or monitoring people or things in an effort to learn something. For example, by observing people on the job, you may discover facts related to the workflow or operating procedures. You may be able to use these facts to draw conclusions about how to improve procedures. By observing customers using product, you may learn which product feature they like or dislike. This information can be used to improve future versions of the product. The secondary research. Research completed by others can be useful in creating reports. Data from research is available in print and online. Consult printed books, encyclopedias, and other reports to gather information. Next is analyze the data. Analyze means to examine, study closely, or evaluate in order to understand something better than before. To analyze the data, look for logical links between facts and figures. If you are working with numbers, compare and contrast figures when you look at answers from interviews or surveys, you can ask questions such as how many times was this answer given, what percentage of the people responding give this answer, what is the average rating this answer received, what response to this question occurs most often, what response to this question occurs least often. And the last one is draw a conclusion and make recommendation. Use the data you have analyzed to try to answer a list of questions. Develop a lead. Do the results make sense? Are there any standards to which they can be compared? Do they seem logical based on what you know about the problem or topic? If not, more research or analysis may be needed. A conclusion is an opinion you form that is based on studying the data. Dear students, the next topic is writing informal reports. Most business reports are informal reports that have one or two purposes. They present information that has been requested, or they analyze a problem and report the findings. After placing the main idea and the supporting information in a logical sequence, you can begin writing the report. Report outlines. As you start to outline an informal report, use the preliminary outline you develop to guide your research. The outline will need some revision because of what you learned from collecting and analyzing the data. Once you have revised the outline, use it as a guide for writing the final report. Next is writing style. Informal reports usually are written in a relatively personal style. Personal pronouns and contractions are often used in this style. If your report is about a serious problem or if it is going to a senior manager, you may want it to be more formal. In that case, you would write your report in an impersonal style. In that case, you would write your report in an impersonal style without using first or second person pronouns and contractions. Formatting informal reports. Informal reports have three basic formats: letter reports, memo reports, and manuscript reports. Writing formal reports. Formal reports are more complex than informal reports. They are used when the report will be long or the research involved is extensive. Next is writing style. Formal reports usually are written in an impersonal style. They don't use personal pronouns such as you and I. Many important business decisions are made on the basis of the information presented in formal reports. With so much at stake, these reports need to sound impartial and professional. Formal reports usually are written in an impersonal style. They don't use personal pronouns such as you and I. An impersonal writing style focuses attention on the facts rather than on the writer. It also makes the report sound objective. Parts of formal reports. A formal report has three major parts: preliminary parts, body or text parts, supplementary parts. So first we should talk about preliminary parts. The Preliminary parts are the parts of a formal report that appear first, providing the reader with information about the report body. Preliminary parts include a letter or memo of transmittal, a title page, a table of contents, and an executive summary. The report body. The report body, which contains the text of the report, consists of three parts: the introduction, the findings and analysis, and the summary, conclusions, and recommendations. The introduction states the purpose of the report. The introduction discusses several topics, including any or all of authorization, statement of who authorized the report and the time and manner of authorization, and statement of the problem, reasons for waiting the report and the goals to be accomplished, scope, information the report does and does not cover, factors affecting the scope of the report, such as a limited amount of time or a limited budget, definitions, list of unfamiliar terms and their definitions. The findings and analysis section of the report body comes next. It presents the findings and supporting details and examines those results. The summary, conclusions, and recommendations section comes last. It gives the report objectives, summarizes and the findings, draws conclusions, and make recommendations. Supplementary parts. A formal report may also contain supplementary parts that follow the report body, such as a bibliography or an appendix. The bibliography is a list of sources used in preparing the report. The sources are shown in alphabetic order by authors' names. Formatting formal reports. Formal reports generally follow specific formatting guidelines. Margins and spacing, headings, and visual aids. So first we should talk about margins and spacing. For an unbound report, use a top margin of 2 inches on the first page and on the first page of new sections, such as a work search page. On the other page, use a top margin of 1 inch. Use 1 inch for side and bottom margins for all pages. If the report will be bound, increase the left margin on all pages to 1.5 inches. The second one is headings. Use headings to help organize and present data. Headings help the reader follow the line of thought as they move from point to point in the report. A first level heading is a heading that opens a major section. For example, a first level heading is a heading identified with a Roman numeral in the report outline. A second level heading is a heading that introduces a subtopic below a first level heading. The headings of the same level within a section, such as second level headings in an outline, should be parallel in form. Parallel headings show readers that the ideas are grouped for a reason. If one heading begins with a noun, all headings at that level should begin with a noun. If one heading begins with a verb, all other headings should begin with a verb. This usage makes the headings parallel. In addition, each level should have a minimum of 2 headings. And last one is visual aids. Most formal reports and many informal reports include visual aids and graphics, charts, graphs, tables, pictures, and photos help the reader understand and interpret written information. With computers, producing graphics is easy and inexpensive. Dear students, thank you very much. In today's lecture, we talk about business communication through writing, Unit 6, course code 8415. Thanks for all of you. Now we will meet in next lectures. Till then, Allah Hafiz.